Yes, you're working hard enough. Hey everyone, it's Wolfgang. So if I forget at the end, I wanted to mention Tension Tamer tea. If you're working a lot, which many of us are, this is a great tea. There's no caffeine. It has B vitamins. It has herbs. It gives a great sense of a feeling of well-being after you've had a cup of this. I don't have any affiliation with this. I've just been drinking this tea for a number of years, and I wanted to recommend it because it's appropriate for this topic. So if you're working 12, 16-hour days, my objective with this video is to help you get out of that. It's kind of a trap. You really can't find peace working 12, 16-hour days. You can do it for a short period of time if you absolutely have to, but you can't do it for an extended period. I'll explain how you can avoid falling into that trap. The first thing you can do is try to automate things in your life. The objective is we want to be able to get the same amount of work done in less time. And so you can do that if you automate some of the things that you normally do in your life. As an example, if you're trying to find a place to live, you might consider doing what Warren Buffett did. He bought a small tract home, relatively small considering he's a multi-billionaire. A smaller home, relatively speaking, that does not have a big yard that takes hours and hours to cut the grass. Or hire a lawn service, a way to automate it. If you really want a large place with a huge lawn, hire a lawn service. That's one way to automate that. You can still have the large place, the large lawn. Another idea, again, this is kind of following what Warren Buffett does. He lives in a fairly modest tract home. It's a 1950s vintage tract home. Not too difficult to clean. If you've ever lived in a large home, one of the things you discover is all those rooms just naturally become dirty and you have to clean them. You know, the drafts that go through the house, dust collects. And so if you have a large property, hire a cleaning lady to automate that. Or live in a smaller place so it doesn't take that long to clean. If you're thinking about getting a house pet, think about having a cat as a house pet. Cats do not need to be walked. And you can save a lot of time not having to walk a large breed dog. If you have a small breed dog, it's sort of the same thing. You don't spend too much time walking small breed dogs. If you need to have, or you like to have a large breed dog, consider hiring a dog walker. I have tenants who actually do that. It's not that expensive. They hire someone to walk their dogs for them, people who rent from us, from our rental properties. Another thing you can do to automate your life is have groceries delivered. That will save you the time of driving to the grocery, shopping, and then driving home. If you just have everything delivered. So all of these things, no more cutting a huge lawn, no more having to clean a large house. You hire that out. Having a house pet that's sort of low maintenance, and having everything delivered. The time you save by automating these sorts of things, and this is just a small sample. Obviously, we all have different things in our lives, in our situations. The time you save by automating all that stuff will allow you to finish the same amount of work in less time. And that's kind of what I'm trying to do with this video. You're already working hard enough. Let's try to get the same amount of work done in less time. Step one is to automate as much as you can. Another problem that comes up that causes us to spend more time working than we'd like is if we have distractions, any kinds of distractions. If you have a home office and you work from home, you know what I mean by that. If you've ever been interrupted during the day, generally you have to stop focusing on the work so you lose your concentration, refocus on the distraction, resolve it in some way, and then you have to re-engage and refocus on your work again. So that's a distraction. If that happens multiple times throughout the day, that can be a huge waste of time. Accumulated through the week and through a month, that's a lot of time lost. So interruptions, distractions tend to slow your work. It takes longer to do the same amount of work. So I'm going to give you some ideas about how to eliminate distractions. And I'll say in advance that some of these are controversial, but I kind of do all these and they work fine. They seem a little bit controversial, maybe some of them seem more controversial than others, but they do work. I've been using them for a long time, and I save a lot of time this way. So the idea is to eliminate distractions, interruptions, and the goal is to finish the same amount of work in less time. Some of these are controversial. Step one, eliminate all texting. That's pretty controversial these days. I stopped texting in 2018. It was just too much because what happens is a text comes in and you just have this sense you've got to respond to it or at least look at it, and then maybe you have to reply. But in any event, if you're working and you're getting texting coming in constantly, those are distractions that cause you to stop concentrating on the work, refocus on the text, decide how you're going to respond and when you're going to respond, and then you have to re-engage and refocus back on the work. So I got rid of all texting in 2018. And I do tell people that. I say, don't text me. And it works out pretty well. The idea is I want people to call and leave voicemail if they need to get in touch with me and not text me. So eliminate all texting. That gets rid of a lot of distractions these days. And it may seem controversial, but if you try it, you will find that people are okay with it. And I think one of the reasons I found that people are okay with that is they know from their own experience how interrupting texting has become in our lives. And so they are a little bit sympathetic to it. Okay. Another thing you can consider to eliminate distractions is unsubscribe from everything you've ever subscribed to that sends you email. If you don't do that, you know just as I do that your inbox and email can fill up with just tons of stuff that you have subscribed to. And then you'll spend time going through the list. Do I want to look at this? Do I want to look at that? And so on. So if you unsubscribe from everything, that will save you a lot of time. And that way, if you decide you want to look into something, that's an action you can take. Instead of having your inbox filled every day, sometimes with tons of emails per hour, all of that stops and you recapture all that time. Because the goal is to finish the same amount of work in less time. That's what we're trying to do. So unsubscribe from all email subscriptions. And then step 3, let all phone calls go to voicemail. And you can tell people in advance, if you call me during working hours, it's going to voicemail. I'm not going to answer the phone. And because the motive for this, finish the work in less time, the motive is so that we can spend more time with our personal relationships. If you're married, that's very important. If you have kids, that's very important. After working hours, so that you're not neglecting them. The 12 to 16-hour days, it really doesn't work. It leads to neglecting personal relationships, your health, and your peace of mind also if you're working too much. So all phone calls during work hours go to voicemail. Step 4, turn your phone volume to 0. So that's what I do during the day. When I'm working, the phone volume is 0. There's no texting. I'm not getting any phone calls, and I'm not doing any of this stuff. I can hire out all these things that I don't want to spend time on. Okay, so step 5. You can get a do not disturb sign and put it on your office door or your home office door, and just let everyone know that if you see the do not disturb sign, I do enforce that because I'm concentrating on work. I'm trying to be effective and get work done without distractions. So the do not disturb sign, if you hang that on your home office door, just let the family know that I want to be able to spend more time with you, and the way I'm going to be able to do that is to be able to concentrate on my work and not be interrupted so I can finish it in less time. Step 6, this one is extremely controversial. I know, okay? No meetings, ever. No meetings. If someone absolutely believes they need a meeting with you, you can ask them to post a note on your office door, and then you can look at the note and you can decide, was the person being emotional? And the answer is often yes, they were emotional when they decided it's an emergency, I really need a meeting with you. Usually, and this is your sole discretion, you can decide I'm not going to take that meeting. Not having meetings, because meetings are tragic. They are a tragic waste of time because, unlike interacting with a computer, humans are emotional, and the amount of time it takes to get through a meeting, a portion of that is working with other people's emotions. And so you eliminate that time spent by having no meetings. And you can let everyone know, if you feel this is an emergency, post a note on my office door, and then in my sole discretion, I will decide if this really is an emergency that requires me to have a meeting with you now. Usually the answer is no. Now, I know it's controversial. You could try it for a week and see if it works. But if you look at all the time we're recapturing, we're not responding to texting. We're not having to maintain we're not having to deal with an email inbox that's filling up constantly. We're not getting interrupting phone calls. We're not even hearing the phone ring. We have a do not disturb sign, so no one's going to interrupt us in the office. And we're not having meetings. That's a lot of time recaptured. We don't want to work 12, 16-hour days. 8 to 10-hour days, okay, but not 12 to 16-hour days, because 12 to 16-hour days can lead to neglect your personal relationships. And if you're married, that's very dangerous. Unless you're intentionally trying to get divorced, working long hours like that on an ongoing basis can lead to disaster. And I don't recommend it. So one way you can get on top of all of this is to keep a distractions log, a notebook with notebook paper. Keep a distractions log for 1 week before you change anything, and just note all the distractions that occur and how much time you spent. At the end of that week, go down the list of distractions and then try to eliminate and automate as much as you can, and then start having some rules that you will create, because we want to get our workday down to something manageable. 8 to 10 hours, but not 12 to 16 hours. 12 to 16 hour days and distractions can lead to burnout, okay? And there are studies that show after about 8, 10 hours of work, our productivity starts to fall through the floor, starts to decline greatly. And so we can avoid that by eliminating all the distractions. We want to be able to concentrate for the full workday without distractions. So if you have to work long days for a short period, if you do end up having to work 12, 16-hour days for a brief stretch of time, so what I would recommend is take a 5 to 10 minute break every hour and keep the phone off. And then for food, eat very light and very healthy meals like vegetables, fresh veg, and nothing with fat or sugar in it, because that will make you sleepy. That'll tend to put you to sleep. So I recently had a stretch of work where I ended up having to work much longer than normal, and that's kind of how I got through it. I was already doing a lot of this, but there did come a time where I had to kind of burn the midnight oil, and it didn't last that long, so it's not that big of a deal. You just don't want to get in the habit of doing it consistently. And if you feel stressed out, Tension Tamer tea, I invite everyone to try this. You can buy it in any grocery store. It's caffeine free. It's a great tea. It gives a great relaxing feeling, a sense of well-being. I would give it a shot. If you have any questions about this, please post in the comments. I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. And I want to thank everyone for watching, and have a great day.